Welcome everyone. We finished first step in nitrogen cycle, that is nitrogen fixation. Now in this lecture we will continue the remaining steps of nitrogen cycle like nitrification, nitrogen assimilation, ammonification and denitrification. Now in this lecture we will talk about the second step of nitrogen cycle. What is it? The second step of nitrogen cycle is called nitrification. What did we do in nitrogen fixation? We converted the atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, isn't it? In nitrogen fixation, bacteria converted atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, right? Now where is this ammonia? Ammonia is present in the soil. Ammonia is present in the soil. The ammonia which is present in the soil may not be absorbed by the plant that much efficiently because plant prefers nitrate, right? So that is why this ammonia should get converted to nitrite, and nitrate, that is called nitrification. What is nitrification? What is nitrification? It is the process of conversion of ammonia into nitrite and nitrite into nitrate. First ammonia becomes nitrite, then nitrite into nitrate. Because plant prefers to absorb nitrate from the soil, NO3 from the soil. Ammonia it absorbs but not that effectively, but if it absorbs nitrates effectively. So there are some bacteria which are present in the soil. They are called nitrifying bacteria. So we can write down, what are the bacteria called? The bacteria are called nitrifying, nitrifying bacteria, right? They do nitrification. Nitrifying bacteria, they do nitrification. What is nitrification? Conversion of ammonia to nitrite, nitrite to nitrate. Let us see the equation. They have given this in NCERT also. Nitrification reaction is, we got two ammonia molecules, no? Take the two ammonia molecules and add 3 oxygen molecules. Take 2 ammonia molecules, give 3 oxygen molecules, then what happens? This ammonia get oxidized in the presence of 3 oxygen molecules to give 2NO2 nitrite plus 2H plus 2 water molecules plus energy is released. Understood, children? This reaction of conversion of ammonia to nitrite, what is this? This is ammonia got converted to nitrite. Happens in the presence of a bacteria, nitrifying bacteria called Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus. Who will do this reaction? 2 bacteria. What are their names? Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus will do this reaction. Then what should happen? Nitrite should get converted to nitrate, no? That also we will do. Take the 2 molecules of NO2, give 1 molecule of O2. Then this 2 molecules of NO2, after taking this O, will become 2 molecules of NO3. Nitrite now got converted to nitrate. Nitrate got converted to nitrate. This is done by another set of nitrifying bacteria called Nitrocystis and Nitrobacter. This reaction is mediated by Nitrocystis and Nitrobacter. This reaction Nitrocystis and Nitrobacter will do. This reaction Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus will do. These two steps together come under nitrification. What is nitrification? Conversion of the ammonia into nitrite and nitrate. Since in the soil ammonia cannot be absorbed efficiently by the plants, it is converted to nitrites and nitrates. Now these nitrifying bacteria, Amma, are they aerobes or anaerobes? They are aerobes. See, oxygen you are giving, so it is understood that there are aerobes. They are aerobic. Now they are chemosynthetic. We tell them they are chemosynthetic autotrophs. They are chemoautotrophs. What do you mean by chemoautotrophs? Chemo, they break the chemicals. When they break the chemicals, they are getting energy. When they are breaking ammonia, they got energy. When they are breaking nitrite, they got energy. What is this called? This is called nitrate. They got energy. Now, nitrification reaction is exergonic reaction. It is releasing energy, right? Nitrification reaction, which type of reaction is this? Exergonic reaction. What do you mean by exergonic reaction? Energy is released. Energy is released. So that's why it's called exergonic reaction. These nitrifying bacteria are chemoautotrophs. They break the chemical, they get the energy. They use the energy to prepare their food. Since they are preparing their food, they are autotrophs. They are preparing the food by breaking chemicals, so that's why they are called chemoautotrophs. Children, this point has been asked in the NEET examination. I don't remember the year, but this point has been asked in NEET examination. Like nitrifying bacteria, they come under which type? They come under aerobic. They are chemoautotrophs. What are the conditions they require for their growth? Nitrifying bacteria, optimal temperature. Usually it is 30 to 35 degrees centigrade. The optimal temperature is 30 to 35 degrees centigrade. They require acidic pH or alkaline pH. So these are salts, right? That means they require alkaline pH. So if we have to check with optimal pH, they prefer alkaline pH. They prefer alkaline pH. Temperature 30 to 35. Are they aerobic or anaerobic? We added oxygen, means they are aerobic, means they require adequate aeration, they require adequate moisture. So they require adequate aeration and they require adequate moisture. So they require proper moisture, they require proper oxygen, they require alkaline pH, they require this temperature to convert ammonia to nitrite, to convert nitrite to nitrate, and all this, what is this called? Nitrification. Which type of reaction is it? Exergonic reaction. What do you mean by exergonic reaction? Energy is released. What will the bacteria do with that energy? It uses that energy to prepare the food. Understood, children? This is our second step. What is it called? Nitrification. Take a screenshot, then we will move on to the third step called nitrogen assimilation. Right? So we understood step 1, nitrogen fixation. Step 2, nitrification. Now step 3, nitrogen assimilation. Let's talk about the third step in nitrogen cycle, assimilation. Children, you are seeing, I am pointing out, I am telling, this concept came in the NEET examination. This concept came in the NEET examination, means you should understand nitrogen cycle in very much detailed manner. Now, what happened in nitrogen fixation? In nitrogen fixation, atmospheric nitrogen got converted to ammonia. This ammonia is present in the soil. Now what happened in nitrification? In nitrification, this ammonia got converted to nitrite. Nitrite got converted to nitrate. So this is the second step, nitrification. Now what happens in nitrogen assimilation? Where is this nitrite and nitrate? This is also there in the soil only. Now we know that plant absorbs nitrogen mainly in the nitrate form. So Plant absorbs nitrogen mainly as this form, nitrate form, right? So the plant is taking nitrate. So if we see the plant, yeah, we can draw it here. Now it has taken, what did it take? It has taken NO3, and that NO3 got transported. The NO3 got transported. Now what happens? Now this nitrate should get converted to ammonia. This nitrate, which was absorbed by the plant from the soil, it absorbed nitrate. That nitrate went into the plant, went into the root, went into the stem, went into the leaf. Now what should happen to this nitrate? Nitrate should reduce to ammonia. Why nitrate should get reduced to ammonia? Because plant growth happens by proteins. Proteins are made by amino acids. Amino acids needs ammonia group. So from this nitrate only ammonia will come. So what is nitrogen assimilation? Nitrogen assimilation, the nitrate is reduced to ammonia in the following steps. Understood, children, what is nitrogen assimilation? Now let's try to see. In nitrogen assimilation, the third step we are talking. What happens in nitrogen assimilation? Nitrate means NO3, right? Is reduced to ammonia in the following steps. In how many steps it will go, I'll tell you. In following steps. And you can ask, why are we converting this nitrate to ammonia? To make amino acids, which will further make proteins, which will further help in the growth of the plant body. First convert nitrate to nitrite, then nitrite to hyponitrite, then to hydroxylamine, then to ammonia. This is the sequence. First, what happens? Nitrate reduces to nitrite. Nitrite reduces to hyponitrite. Hyponitrite reduces to hydroxylamine. Hyponitrite reduces to hydroxylamine. Hydroxylamine finally reduces to ammonia. This is a process of conversion of nitrate to ammonia. Where is this happening? So this occurs in the plant. This occurs in the plant, right? So plant will make ammonia, and this ammonia will make amino acids. The amino acids will make proteins, and it will also make chlorophyll. In chlorophyll also ammonia is required, nitrogen is required, and other nitrogen containing pigments, everything comes from ammonia only. That means the NO3 should get converted to ammonia. Understood, children? This is nitrogen assimilation. We will see it in bit detailed manner. First, what happens is we'll divide into two steps. Nitrate reduction. We'll see it in detail. First step is nitrate reduction. In nitrate reduction, nitrate is reduced to nitrite. So in this step, nitrate is reduced to nitrate. Right? Nitrate is reduced to nitrate in the presence of an enzyme called nitrate reductase by an enzyme. What is that enzyme? By an enzyme called nitrate reductase. Children, this nitrate reductase is a flavoprotein. Flavoprotein means it has FAD. Nitrate reductase enzyme is a flavoprotein. Flavoprotein is an FAD. Reduction form of FAD is called FADH2. Who will give hydrogen for FADH2? Means NADH2. Follow me. It is NAD or NADP. Amma, they will take hydrogen. They will take hydrogen and they will become NADH2 or they will become NADPH2. NAD or NADP taking hydrogen, they are reduced to. These are reduced forms, these are oxidized forms. After taking hydrogen, they are reduced to NADH2 and NADPH2. Now, these NADPH2, okay, we'll do it in this manner. Excuse me. We will take the reduced forms first. NADPH2 gets converted to NADP by giving the hydrogens. Who will take the hydrogens? FAD. Right, children? FAD, it is oxidized because it is not having hydrogens. After taking the hydrogens, FADH2, it is a reduced form. This is a reduced form. After giving hydrogen, it got oxidized. This is oxidized form. After taking hydrogens, it got reduced. FADH2 get back oxidized by giving the hydrogens to a molybdenum molecule. Molybdenum is oxidized, but after taking the hydrogen, molybdenum becomes reduced. Molybdenum gets oxidized by giving the hydrogens, to nitrate. And NO3, it makes NO2 plus water. It makes NO2 plus water. See, here we wrote it simply nitrate to nitrate. But in the body, in the plant body, how does the mechanism works? Nitrate to nitrate conversion, in this manner it works. So what is the reaction called? Nitrate reduction. Nitrate is reduced to nitrite by an enzyme called nitrate reductase. Nitrate reductase is a flavoprotein. Means the enzyme has FAD. FAD should get reduced to FADH2. Who will give hydrogen? NADPH2 will give hydrogen. Now FADH2 will give hydrogens to molybdenum first, then to nitrate, then nitrate gets reduced to nitrite. This is nitrate and this is nitrite. This is the first step in nitrogen assimilation. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Right, children, we were talking about nitrogen assimilation where we are telling that the nitrate should get converted to ammonia. Why? Because ammonia only will make amino acids. How does it happen? First nitrate to nitrite, that we have seen. My next step will be nitrite to ammonia directly. Nitrite to ammonia directly, that will be our step 2. That is called nitrite reduction in the presence of an enzyme called nitrite reductase. Now, what is the first step, Amma? Nitrate reduction, just now I erased it. Right? In nitrate reaction, what happened? NO3 got converted to NO2. Now, the second step will be called as nitrite reduction. In nitrite reduction, HNO2 with the help of water molecule, nitrite with the help of water molecule gets converted to ammonia molecules. Take 2 water molecules, take 2 water molecules. 2 water molecules of HNO2, 2 water molecules makes 2 ammonia molecules and they give 3 O2 molecules. So what did we see? Finally we saw that nitrate got converted to nitrite and nitrate got converted to ammonia. This reaction is called nitrite reduction. Is mediated by an enzyme called what is that enzyme? nitrite reductase, right? What is it called? Nitrite reductase. Nitrite reductase works with splitting of water molecule. Nitrite reductase which works with splitting of water. Which works with splitting of water. Children, what did we do in nitrogen assimilation? We converted NO3 to ammonia. We converted NO3 to ammonia, and that ammonia will be assimilated by the plant. That ammonia will be assimilated by the plant. In NCERT, they have given fate of ammonia. What is the fate of ammonia so formed? So we'll write on that. What is the next topic? They have given in NCERT fate of ammonia. A side heading is there in the last page of the chapter. Fate of ammonia. So you made ammonia. What is the fate of this ammonia? What is the fate of this ammonia? What is your fate? To write NEET exam and to become a medico, right? In the same manner, what is the fate of the ammonia molecule? In physiological pH, in the plant physiology, what happens at that pH? The ammonia NH3 gets protonated and it becomes ammonium ion. So at plant physiological pH, at plant's pH, inside the plant, what happens? Ammonia is protonated. Ammonia is protonated and forms, what does it forms? Ammonium ion. NH3, after taking proton, it forms ammonium ion. But ammonia and ammonium are toxic, right? They are the excretory materials, right? Nitrogen, it is toxic, right? So it should be eliminated or it should be converted to another form. They are protonated to form ammonia. Since ammonia and ammonium are toxic, they are toxic, they cannot be accumulated as such. They cannot be accumulated. They cannot be accumulated by plant as such, right? So what it will do? It will try to convert into other forms. Then in NCERT they have given two reactions will come. Reductive amination and transamination are the two steps of fate of ammonia. Understood, children? We're talking the third step, nitrogen assimilation. From the soil, the plant has absorbed nitrate. Nitrate got converted to ammonia in two steps. What is that? Nitrate reduction, nitrite reduction. We got ammonia. Fate of ammonia. What is the fate of ammonia? Ammonia gets protonated, becomes ammonium ion. But in plant, ammonia and ammonium both are toxic. Then they cannot accumulate. Then what happens? They follow two paths. One is reductive amination, other one is transamination. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Right. So under fate of ammonia, let's discuss now. Isn't nitrogen cycle very big, lengthy, right? But then I'm telling it's important also in terms of NEET point of view. So yeah, we are with the third step, nitrogen assimilation. In nitrogen assimilation, first we converted nitrate into ammonia. Then ammonia got converted into ammonium ion. Then we are telling what is the fate of ammonia. And then we are telling there are two fates. The first one is called reductive amination. What is the first step? It is called reductive amination. And the second step is called transamination, right children? Reductive amination and transamination. In reductive amination, take a keto acid. take a keto acid. So I'll take alpha ketoglutaric acid. I wrote short form, we will write it later. So in reductive amination, a keto acid called alpha ketoglutaric acid combines with ammonium ion. It combines with ammonium ion and it takes reduced energy NADPH. It takes energy also. It takes energy also, and when ammonia gets added, then a keto acid becomes an amino acid. The name of the amino acid is glutamate. Glutamic acid. After taking the ammonia group, alpha ketoglutaric acid becomes an amino acid called glutamate, and this becomes NADP. Hydrogens are involved. What has happened? Hydrogens are involved, or this hydrogens and this hydrogens will come out as a water molecule. They'll come out as water molecule, and the enzyme which will do this reaction is called GDH. What is the reaction enzyme? GDH, glutamate dehydrogenase. Now I'll write on what is KGA. Alpha KGA means, children, it is a keto acid. Its name is alpha ketoglutaric acid. Alpha ketoglutaric acid, after accepting amino group, it becomes an amino acid. What is glutamate? Children, glutamate is a name of an amino acid, acidic amino acid. It's called reductive amination, and the reaction is mediated by GDH. What is the full form of GDH? It is glutamate dehydrogenase. The name of the reaction, the enzyme is glutamate dehydrogenase. Children, this point also came in NEET examination. Came in NEET 2017. They asked this reaction is mediated by which enzyme? Now we know it is mediated by glutamate dehydrogenase. So glutamate dehydrogenase will do reductive amination. It will take the ammonia, gives it to an keto acid, converts the keto acid into an amino acid. Okay, children, this is called reductive amination. Now let's go to transamination. What happens in transamination? Transfer of amino group. In transamination, an amino donor combines with an amino acceptor. Amino donor combines with an amino acceptor. Who is amino donor? Amino acid. Who is amino donor? Let me write down. Amino donor is an amino acid. And who is accepting amino group? Keto acid. So an amino acid combines with a keto acid. This is donating amino group. After losing the amino group, amino acid becomes a keto acid. After losing the amino group, the amino donor, what does it becomes? It becomes a keto acid. After receiving the amino group, amino acceptor becomes an amino acid. This becomes an amino acid. Children, understood? So in this reaction, the amino group is transferred from an amino acid to a keto acid to make a new amino acid. To make a new amino acid. This reaction is mediated by an enzyme called transaminase. This reaction is mediated by an enzyme called transaminase. Okay. Now, which we know 20 amino acids. Which amino acid will always come to donate the amino groups? Means glutamic acid. Glutamic acid is amino group donor. Glutamic acid is amino group donor and makes the remaining it will make the remaining 17 amino acids. Glutamic acid, in this manner, it keeps donating the amino group and it will make all the remaining 17 amino acids. Okay, children. Then next, if we see what happens, means how many glutamic acid, what it is? It's an acidic acid. Glutamic acid. Sorry. Glutamic acid. Glutamic acid and aspartic acid. What are these two? Amino acids. Which type of amino acids? They are acidic amino acids. Glutamic acid and aspartic acid are acidic amino acids. These glutamic acid and aspartic acid, they take amine groups. They take amine groups, right? And glutamic acid becomes glutamine. Aspartic acid becomes asparagine. So we are telling that glutamic acid and aspartic acid, which are the two acidic amino acids, after receiving the amino groups, see, they have received amino groups and they got converted into amines. They are called glutamine and asparagine. So what are glutamine and asparagine called? They are called amines. These are called acidic amino acids. Glutamine and asparagine are called amines. They are called amines, and these amines will have more amino groups when compared to glutamic acid and aspartic acid. So amines have more nitrogen than amino acids. Amines have more nitrogen than amino acids, right? No, because it has received an amino group, it has more nitrogen than amino acids, and these amines are transported through xylem. These amines are transported through xylem only. They transported through xylem only. Children, we are talking about the third step, nitrogen assimilation. We converted nitrite to ammonia and ammonia to ammonium ion. And what is the fate of the ammonia? Two steps, reductive amination or transamination. In reductive amination, keto acid becomes an amino acid. Enzyme GDH, glutamate dehydrogenase, came in the NEET examination. In transamination, amino acid with keto acid. After amino acid donates the amino group, this amino acid becomes keto acid. The keto acid, after receiving the amino group, it becomes an amino acid. This reaction is mediated by an enzyme called transaminase, who will come to donate the amino group, since glutamic acid is a donor. What is glutamic acid? Amino acid. Which type of amino acid? Acidic amino acid. Is there else any other acidic amino acid? Yes. What is it? Aspartic acid. Aspartic acid and glutamic acid are the two acidic amino acids. Acidic amino acids, by taking amino groups, they become amides called glutamine and asparagine. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Right, children? So we will see this reaction in bit detailed manner, transamination. Right. So we are talking about transamination. In that we are telling an amino acid combines with keto amino acid. I'll use different color. Combines with keto acid. Now, after giving the amino group, amino acid becomes keto acid. Means the black colored amino acid became keto acid. and the red colored keto acid, after accepting the amino group, it became amino acid. And the enzyme which will do this reaction is called transaminase. Right, let me give the names also. Now always who will come to donate? Glutamic acid, right? So take here the name of the amino acid as glutamate. Take the amino acid as glutamate. Now glutamate and the keto acid name is oxaloacetate. Oh yeah, the keto acid name is oxaloacetate. After donating the amino group, glutamate becomes alpha ketoglutarate. Glutamate, after donating the amino group, it becomes a keto acid. The name of the keto acid is alpha ketoglutarate. And the oxaloacetate, after taking the amino group, it becomes an amino acid. The name of the amino acid is aspartic acid. We can call it as aspartate. We can call it as aspartate. So this is an example of transamination. Since ammonia is toxic, ammonia will make amino acids. Ammonia will make amino acids either by reductive amination or transamination. Right, children? If we have to see the structure of glutamic acid, right? The glutamic acid and aspartic acid, glutamate and aspartate, right? So they take amino groups and then they form glutamine and asparagine. Now what are these two called? These are called amines. Why are they not called amino acids? Why are they called amines? Since they have more amino groups. So glutamine and asparagine have more nitrogen than amino acids. They have more nitrogen than amino acids and are transported. How are they transported? They're transported by xylem. Don't think that these are organic compounds. Organic compounds will not be transported by xylem. They'll be transported by xylem only. Now, if we have to see the structure of aspartic acid, it is COOH, amino group here, hydrogen here. This is aspartic acid. Now in this aspartic acid, if you have to convert aspartic acid into asparagine, the OH group, this OH group will be replaced by NH2 group. So write it like this: COOH, NH2, CH2, C double bond O. I removed OH. In that place I gave NH2. So did you see? The OH group is replaced by NH2. That's what NCERT says. When aspartic acid is getting converted to asparagine, the OH group is replaced by NH2 group. The OH group is replaced by NH2 group. What is this? Aspartate. What is this? Asparagine. Now we are telling asparagine is an amine. It's an amide, right? AMIDE. It is an amide. It has more nitrogen. Yes, it has one nitrogen and second nitrogen. So it is having more nitrogen than amino acids. Amino acids are having only one nitrogen group, whereas these amides are having more nitrogen groups, correct? And some other plants like soybean. Now, soybean, it comes under Fabaceae member. Now, in Fabaceae, in the root nodules, nitrogen fixation will be done, correct? Rhizobium bacteria. Soybean, which is a Fabaceae member, in the root nodules, it will do nitrogen fixation. This nitrogen is stored as uride. So in soybean, in the roots, nitrogen is stored as uride, and this uride is translocated. It is translocated or exported. It is translocated or exported to all parts by transpiration stream. By transpiration stream. What is transpiration? Loss of water. If water is going up, how is it going up? Through the xylem. It's going up through the xylem. Now, in soybean, which belongs to a Fabaceae member, in its roots, nitrogen is fixed, and that nitrogen is there in a salt form called uride. Root is not storing that uride. Root is exporting that uride to all the parts along with the xylem in the transpiration stream. This uride also has high nitrogen to carbon ratio. The uride also has more nitrogen when compared to the carbon ratio. Right, children? Did you understand what did we discuss in the class? We discussed about nitrogen assimilation. In nitrogen assimilation, we discussed how the nitrate gets converted to ammonia. It is by nitrate reduction, nitrite reduction. And what is the fate of the ammonia? Ammonia, either it goes for reductive amination or transamination. It makes amino acid, it makes amides. We discussed. In amide, we have seen why it is having more amino groups. In uride, it is also having more nitrogen. In the last lecture, we will discuss the last steps of nitrogen cycle, that is ammonification and denitrification, and we will also solve the exercise questions which are there at the end of the chapter. If the content is informative, do like, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.